So we're on the.
And then we'll have our meeting after the joint, so we'll be alone. We just hope it's not contentious.
But the next meeting is 4/13?
Yes.
And that's the joint.
And then we'll have ours after that. Would you all rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've had an empty seat for quite a few months since December, and now we have someone that has filled that vacancy. I'd like to introduce Meredith Bonesteel-Nims, and she will be with us for the next few months, and she'll also be running in the November election. Hopefully, we know she'll win. She'll be with us for 4 years. Yes.
Happy
Welcome.
to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
And don't hesitate to say, I don't understand what you're saying.
Sure.
We'll try to explain as we go along. So tonight we have David Powers is with us. David is our engineer from our engineering firm, Barton & Lejuzic. We're doing a fairly large water project starting when, David?
Well, technically started last fall, but
Well,
they'll
yes.
be starting construction in earnest in the next few weeks here. Winter ever lets go of us. Getting closer, I think. So tonight, I'll give an update on project status and then go through the change order that we've got here. So the intake work, as we know, the majority of the in-water work was complete last fall. So at this point, the contractor just needs to return and make the connection in the yard. Got me? Okay. So the contractor needs to return this spring to complete the work they started last fall. Their tentative plan is to do that April 6th, if weather permits, down at the intake site. So the biggest key there is we're going to need to make temporary water while they cut in the new intake to the existing clear well. So we need the ice to get out of the way so we can get a suction line out there to provide the temporary bypass. So tentatively that plan is for the 6th. That's contract 1, the intake. Contract number 2, the water main construction. The contractor has been on site for the last few weeks. They've been receiving shipments of pipe and valves and hydrants. So in the next week or so, we'll have a stored materials pay app for them that they'll be submitting to us and to Dank that we'll process at the next board meeting. And they're in the same boat, really, just eagerly waiting to get started once we're firmly out of the winter season.
How much frost is in the ground?
It's hard to say. I don't know if you have a better judge, if you've been digging around for anything.
I know we lost a lot of it with that early March storm we had. I thought it would have ridded all of the frost in the ground. It hasn't. You still see standing water in some of the fields outside Clayton that tells me that you still have a frost in there.
Yep, but yeah, so the contractor's on site, they're mobilized, their equipment's here, pipe is arriving, so they're ready to go. So tonight for contract 2, we've got change order number 1. So this change order is incorporating the additive bid items that we pulled out during the bidding process. So if you don't recall, during bidding, we saw the writing on the wall that the budget was likely going to be exceeded with the entire scope. So in order to be able to proceed within our then current bonding capacity, we removed the scope for Clover Rise Lane, North Shore Drive, South Shore Drive, Sherman and Emery Ave, and Cantwell Drive. So those 6 areas were pulled out, and they were included as additive bid items with the expectation that we would get to this point where we are today, where the bond capacity has been increased, and we can now reintroduce those items. So these items were always a part of the entire scope. It was just a little bit of shuffling we had to do with the legal bonding capacity at the time of the bid. So the change order includes includes the 15 additive award bid items that are attached to the change order. And again, those 15 items represent the quantities of all the materials required for those 6 areas of the scope. So you've got pipe, valves, hydrants, connections, asphalt restoration, backfill, the works. So this is all scope items necessary to reintroduce and make the project whole again. So this change order is for $759,038. So the contract to Manfred would be increased accordingly. I will note that per the contract documents, they had the opportunity to reevaluate their unit prices. They held their prices for us. They're confident that, they were confident in doing so. The biggest item would have been plastics, and this scope area is all ductile iron pipe, so they were comfortable holding their numbers, so that was good.
That's nice.
Any questions on that?
Is this change order new?
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
You?
I didn't get anything to give to the board.
All right, so, I mean, we're not going to vote on anything, that's for sure.
Gotcha. That's okay. They're not going to start on this right away. I thought maybe I only sent it to
I think you
Amanda.
just sent it to me.
Oh, did I?
And that, yes.
Gotcha.
Well, because I remember I
Yeah.
got it, and I apologize, I didn't
problem.
forward it on.
Well, now you know all about it for next meeting.
Now you know to send it to me.
Yeah, I usually do.
I know. He usually does,
Well,
yeah.
you were on.
That's why I was confused.
I know how to find out what's going on.
No.
There you go. Well, that's the information for the change order.
Right.
Any questions?
David, did
We
we get that
don't like it.
screen for the, I'm sorry, did we get that screen for the intake?
Yes, that's
The
been
one that we were waiting weeks
Yep.
and months for?
Yep.
That's the April 6th.
Yep, that was delivered. Yep.
In that change order, do you have the streets that you're yanking?
No, he's not yanking anything. When the contract came in, it was over budget. So he separated the contract. We had 2 contracts. And we all agreed to that. And then we went back and we bonded for more money. And now we're putting the 2 contracts back together. So we're not taking anything out of the original scope. Correct?
Yeah, we're essentially just reintroducing the scope items. So what we did, we only had enough bonding capacity to award up to like $5.5 million at the time of bidding. And I was afraid if we bid the entire scope all at once, the bids would exceed the $5.5 million and we wouldn't be able to award bid at all. So what we did was took 6 areas of the project that I thought would total enough to get us below that bonding capacity and bid those as additive bid items, which we could then reintroduce in the future once we knew what that total cost would be. So these items were separated, included in the bid, and then we increased the bond resolution, bumped up that capacity. So now we're just simply reintroducing them to again make the scope whole. So it's not a new area. It was an area that was always in the project. We just had to do some shuffling at bidding time to enable us to move forward in the fall. If we hadn't done that, we wouldn't be able to award bids until we had increased the bond resolution, in which case we likely would have had to rebid because the contractor wouldn't be liable to hold their bid that long because you have to go through the bond resolution and stop hold period. And so it was just some number shuffling so that we could keep making progress.
But is this going to take up the amount of money that we had additionally? So, I mean, this was actually explained to us that this is money in case something came up, and you're telling me something already had come up, and that's why we did it.
No,
No.
we still
No,
have
that's not how it was
okay.
explained.
we still have $250,000 in contingency
Additional.
on top of this.
Consistency, yeah.
All right,
Yes, as your
thank you.
contingency.
Yep.
Yes.
Makes me feel better.
Yep. Yep.
And this will be the last change order he comes for, right?
If it was up to me.
Usually there's about 5 or 6, so.
There we go.
Well, I apologize that didn't make it to all of you. I'll make sure that you have it and pass it to the next meeting. It's fine.
My apologies.
Manfred's going to get started. They've got enough work from the original base bid to get started on, so
Sorry.
no problem.
At least you don't have to drive back the water tower.
That's true. just right up the street.
That's true.
All right, any other questions on the project?
What about that slab of cement
Which one?
on James Street?
Where? Which one?
The
Oh,
one in front of the art center?
oh, yeah. I haven't heard anything more.
We'll get taken care of, yeah. The contractor will take care of it when he does all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Our contractor will if they have.
Yes. Very good.
We're including with this across the French Creek Bridge, right?
The French Creek Bridge will be part of the, oh, I'm sorry,
No.
French Creek Bridge.
No,
No,
that's
that's
coming
being
out of
paid
the
out
water.
of.
Okay, this year, this
Right.
year, this year, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's out of water fund, or one of your budgets. And they have that material as well, so.
Okay, thank you, David.
All right.
We'll see you April 13th.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeff? Jeff Mosier is our water treatment and wastewater supervisor. He actually works for Dank, but he works here in the village with us
That's correct.
and does a great job managing the plants.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, Meredith. It's nice to have you on board. So, as the Mayor mentioned, my name is Jeff Mosier. I represent the Development Authority of North Country. We provide management services for the village's water and sewer department. So, I hope that you guys have all had a chance to take a look at last month's status report, primarily discussing where we were, and then I had sent the asset management plan later on in the week, and that primarily discusses where we're going. Okay, so it's just basically a snapshot of our current finances and some work plans we have in the near future. If you took a look at the status report, we did include an attachment that includes a quote from Aqualogics. I thought I was a little sticker shocked by this quote when I first saw it. This is a pump station that we have near the apartments on the other side of the bridge that is kind of antiquated. It's got a lot of components on it that aren't original to it. It's been piecemeal throughout the years. We were having a problem with our flow controls at this pump station. We reported this problem a few instances over the last couple of years. Basically, this D152 system, which it utilizes, is just simply outdated. So I asked if Aqualogic would provide a quote for us along with updating our communications at a neighboring pump station. You see the quote, it was a little exorbitant. I believe that I could work with Don on decreasing this quote. We did find another alternative for the communications at the State Street pump station, as was mentioned in the quote, as part of the quote. So I'm assuming we could reduce some of that cost there. Amanda and Joanne, we were able to add another phone line over there and work with Verizon to get our auto dialer back in order. So we do have communications there as of this point. Also, I'm
Could you,
sure. Oh, go ahead.
Could you explain this network a little bit more? Like, how many lift stations have the communications in there for alarm?
So there's 14 pump stations throughout the village. All of them have some bit of rudimentary alarming systems. Some of them have more advanced touchscreen Allen Bradley communication devices that actually will send out an alarm through our SCADA system. And it basically talks to some of these more remote pump stations through a remote telemetry unit. So there's actually antennas on top of these pump stations that communicate through the airwaves.
So this is all radio?
This is all radio, correct.
And
And
they all tie
Ethernet.
together? And you have a control panel down at the treatment plant?
That's correct, yep. We've got SCADA at the treatment plant, we've got SCADA at the wastewater plant. It's kind of the master brains of all the operations. And we also have controls on our mobile phones as of now.
Are these all the same? Are these all Miramar?
That would be fantastic if they were. Unfortunately, they're not. There's no continuity of equipment. We've got 14 different pump stations that were put in at different times. You know, the LS1A, the LS2 pump stations were put in when we decided to take the prison sewer water, so they were built at different eras. We've got 3 different pump stations, the Flight, the Smith and Loveless, and we also have Golden Ground pump stations. So basically, I have different vendors that specialize in these different pumps. Like I'll always have GA Fleet service our Flight pumps. Kester was here today doing all our Smith and Loveless pumps. So they are all different, and it's sometimes a challenge getting them all to communicate together and work. Fortunately, we have this company, Aqualogics, that we've been working with for, before my time and Thomas's time, that they've been superb. They help us out at a drop of a hat. They've been up here 2 o'clock in the morning, troubleshooting problems with us. But I was a little sticker shocked when I saw that quote. We did have
Is that the most up-to-date type of system? Like, I ever thought looking into cellular, like TextLite?
Well, so
alarm systems?
some of our sites, now a couple of our pump stations were on a direct service line. They were unable to get the Wi-Fi cellular service out there. We were paying an exorbitant amount through, I believe it was Smart Sites, to provide these phone lines for these pump stations. When we saw our bill increase like 400%, we decided to find alternative methods, and that's when we worked with Aqualogics. We reinstalled some of the old auto dialers. This is an old technology that's bomb-proof. It basically works over the telephone line, and it just sends out a common alarm to alert our operators that there's an issue occurring at this pump station. Whereas some of the newer technologically advanced communications will actually identify what exactly is going wrong, whether it's over temperature, low flow, high wet well level, gas detection.
But those are all require extra sensors that we don't have, right?
That's correct. So
we only have level sensors in these, right?
We have level sensors. Now, there's 2 types of level sensors. One of them works off of a pressure, kind of a pressure diode. We call those transducers. And other ones are simple floats that tip, as the water level rises and falls. The Mitchmar pump station is still on the old float system. Most of, I will say not all, but most of our pump stations have both systems, where it will work off the transducer system. If that fails, the float system is a second level of security, which will engage the flow mode of the pump and kick on all pumps at once.
So it sounds like if we were to try to update to a cellular type thing, it'd be probably way too expensive.
Looking at this quote, correct. However, this quote includes communication upgrades for the neighboring State Street pump station as well. And with Joanne and Amanda's help, we were able to find through Verizon an alternative method for communications at this pump station. So I'm hopefully taking $10,000 right off the top of this quote that they just issued us. I haven't had a chance to rebuttal this yet with them. He just issued this. So this has been a work in progress for a couple months, this quote.
I guess I was looking at it as, this is $66,000 for this one. And we have how many?
14.
And they're all fairly old. I mean, is this something that we got to be worried about?
I don't believe it's an issue with the other pump station. This is the only pump station that relies solely on the float system, the full float level control system. There is no transducer over there. It's strictly on the floats, and the floats keep failing.
Okay. As long as you're keeping an eye on the cost, whether or not upgrading to something newer, compared to trying to repair these over and over again.
Correct. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I think we've repaired these things now for several years. I'd be more than happy to walk any one of you guys over to the pump stations. I'll open up the control panel for you. You'll see it as an absolute rat mess in there. It's just a mess. It's been, like I said, components robbed from other pump stations, old parts put together for years. It's about time to do something with this. I am not sad. I'm not happy with this quote. We will come back with something else. I'm confident with that.
I don't know if we got the quote.
We're not seeing.
I'm not finding it either.
It wasn't in the
Is that the
number 5?
Yeah, it was at the very end.
It is. Page.
It was 66,000, right?
That's right.
6 of 7.
It was way at the end of this.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was the last attachment in that status
The
report.
full report that he sends out.
Oh, that you sent out previous.
Okay.
There, okay.
It is here or not here?
It's there,
It's in
but
there.
it's not in the, it's not in the meeting
No,
packet.
it was in the assess.
It's in his report that he sends out.
I think it came
Yeah, I
Thursday.
didn't see that.
Well, I know I've seen it. It doesn't seem to be in this one, does it?
Because I always put in the first 10 pages of it. I'm not, gonna print out everything and then scan it back in.
Yeah, I believe this report was because we had the
Yeah, here it is.
quarterly disinfection byproduct sample results, and that
Right,
report
page
is like
63.
40 pages
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
Page what?
Page 63? I read this whole thing.
Apparently.
That was really boring.
I hope you've gotten to the asset management plan, then that'll keep you awake.
I did. I actually went through that.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
What page you said, 63?
63, yeah.
So that asset management plan is a living document. We try to update that every year before our financial meetings, so we can try to get some semblance of what our major costs are going to look like for the next few years as we replace some of these older equipment items.
Yeah, that's one of my thoughts was when I read that, is that we've got a lot going on right now, and hopefully that maybe we can wait a few years on some of the stuff.
Yes, sir.
Because I noticed some of them did recommend that, but there were some of them that were past life service.
That's correct, yeah. And in fact,
but
this,
I mean, the money right now is
it's tight.
tight, and I'm a little worried.
Fortunately, I believe our reserves are going in the right direction in the last few years. So hopefully we could keep collecting interest on that and do well, keeping the black. You know, every time I decide to request equipment replacement from you guys, we'll factor that into our 10-year projection as well and see what the accounts look like after that. So I always use that as a tool. Also, speaking of eye-popping expenditures, I'm sure many of you guys got to look at your electricity bill for February. So unfortunately, our utility bill at the wastewater plant climbed 88%. Now, I had a call with a few of my cohorts at Bank, and we were trying to see different alternatives for how we could offset this. I found a consultant, they're JMI Consultants. They're out of Akron, New York. Okay, and they're going to be issuing me a report this week. Basically, what I understand this program to be is that if we are members of this program, they will let us know when there's going to be high demand hours during usually high heat content summer days where they're fearing brownouts or rolling blackouts. And basically, they call me, they let us know that, hey, we're going to be facing a huge demand on such and such a date. Is there any way you could try to offset it? Now, we did look at the street lights, for instance, in the village of Clayton. I submitted those invoices to them to see if there was anything we could do to offset the street lights. As we know, those are on from dawn till dusk. There's really nothing we could do to offset that. The pump stations, same thing. You know, we spend tens of thousands of dollars every month on running these pump stations. Same thing. They come on when they're full. They basically have to evacuate when they're full. Now, the water plant and the sewer plant are two different beasts. You know, we are able to kind of manipulate operations a little bit. So whether it means we don't make water during the high peak hours of the day and we make water at night, that's something we could change. At the sewer plant, you know, if we're able to hold our water back in our effluent lift station longer and not run our UV units or not run our aeration units, we could offset that. So I understand that there is no penalty if you don't meet their requests. You know, it's voluntary if you do it or not. If you do it, they give you $90,000 for every megawatt you offset, and that's prorated. Now, I don't know what that would amount to at the end of the year, but I believe it's worth a try. They're going to be sending me some reports. I'm going to sit down with their consultants this week, so we're looking at just the sewer plant and the water plant for now, and we'll see if there's anything else that we might be able to include in on this with their help. And so that's underway. And then tomorrow, as Dave mentioned, we're going to be meeting on the raw water intake site to discuss plans for the bypass and setting up equipment down there. I spoke with the Commodore from the Yacht Club. He's okay with us using his boat launch down there to set up our equipment and test it out this week while we're getting ready for that bypass. I also spoke with the landowner to the left side of the road, the pump station. It does appear that his property spills over into the Yacht Club yard quite a bit. It's kind of a downhill, and then he owns a good portion of the flat land near the river where we wanted to set up our pump. So I'm going to be meeting with him on Thursday this week to discuss site plans. And hopefully, like David and Adam project, April 6th is our go time. So
Well, that's exciting.
And I don't know if the ice will be out by then, but you know, we're getting our guys ready, and so we're going to be testing everything out on the site this week just to make sure we don't have any snags. And also, the new meters. Chris Schmidt, as I mentioned a couple months ago, we did have failure our cellular read water meters. We do have a case of 80 of them that are coming. Supposed to be here this week. Chris Schmidt from Badger is going to be here on Wednesday. I'll make a meeting with Amanda and Joanne so we could discuss the software updates that they provided and also the install instructions and programming these meters for our operators. And lunch is on now, so
Oh.
don't bring lunch on Wednesday.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? I'm always available if you have them.
I got a couple so the Merritt Street, Webb Street line is bad shape.
That's correct. So I think this must have been 5-6 years ago. There was a company that came in and they did a lot of our sewer lines. They cured in place, slip lined a lot of our leaking sewer lines that were caused to much I&I. And there was one section, a 300-foot section of water line that they weren't able to do. Now, whether it was too costly to do or whether the condition of the pipe was in too bad of shape, I'm not sure. This was probably 7 years ago. So we talked about replacing that line with our DPW crews. I understand that Terry did order the piping material for the site. He has all the piping material. So we have the material in store. It's just digging and performing a bypass while they're doing the dig work. So I talked with Terry. I think it's something that's well within their realm, something that we could get done with our own DPW crews.
This year?
I believe so.
Okay.
This summer.
Where exactly is that? Is that at the?
So if you were
Because I couldn't get onto the DANK site. Our passwords are no longer works.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get on there. I'm not exactly sure where the location of that crossover point is.
Okay. Yep. So it's landlocked, and if you look at Lions Park, it's kind of right across from Lions Park.
Where it goes down.
That's
So
right.
it goes
The lowest
from
part
Merritt
of
Street
that
to there.
swale. Exactly. And that lowest part of the swale.
That's where I kind of thought it was. But
Yeah. And that's
Haven't we been
20
talking
feet
about that
right
line for the last 2 years, though?
Yes.
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 I think we just need to dig it. We did
Yeah,
get
we
a
just-
quote for slip lining, and remember
Right.
it was like $70,000.
That's right, yes.
And so when I talked to Terry, I was like, "Come on, Terry, we can do this."
Yeah.
So I think we'll get him to do it. We'll perform the bypass. We have means of doing the bypass. Okay.
so would you look into that
definitely
password?
needs to be taken
I
care
will
of.
take care of that password. Yes, sir. I believe, when they issue those passwords, they might just be temporary for a lot of time because the time expired, but I will get that for you.
Thank you. It is handy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I use them every day.
Anything else? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, everyone.
Any questions on the DPW activity report? And we have spring pickup, May 4th. Okay. Mike? This is Mike Ashkoff. He is our zoning and he's our codes man. Sometimes he's our zoning guy also.
I'm the code schmuck. I'm assuming you guys all saw the report we put
Yes.
in. Starting to pick up an activity. A handful of building permits and zoning permits have gone out from sheds to renovations. Over the last month and a half, because I don't think we put a report in last month, we brought in like $3,300 roughly in permit fees. We've got a few checks pending that probably are sitting on my desk right now. One or two items for the zoning board coming up here in the next few weeks. One item for the planning board. But other than that, we're kind of things are picking up. I've had a lot of people in here the last couple of weeks.
is Mike's partner in crime coming back?
Supposed to be back in April.
Okay.
I talked to him last week. He said he'd be back in April. I did not say when in April, so I'm hoping it's the beginning of April. But Mike's done a great job for us.
Yep.
You have to take the whip to him occasionally, but it works.
Has, remember we talked about Jeff?
Jeff Zoller?
Fuller?
Um,
Has any further discussion?
Talked about him specifically.
Townhouses
So he
and docks.
So he did reach out about townhouses. Actually, his son Ryan did,
Some, yeah.
and I directed them to Dave, and I explained to Dave the position that was brought to my attention by Richard when I started. That originally they were given approval for townhouses down there, probably 10 years ago, but since that approval, they have subdivided that property. So they may now not have the appropriate square footage and setbacks and stuff like that. So their old site plan review and approval is no longer valid. They have to go through the process again. And then I think we talked briefly about we also need to establish a time frame for how long site plan reviews are good for anyways, because there doesn't seem to be a standard at the moment for, building permits are good for a year, zoning permits are good for a year.
Right, that was one of the things why I asked the question is because I wanted the board to understand that this project, I bet you it's 20 years ago, was approved for like 6 townhouses, I think, or something like that.
Something along those lines.
So they, maybe it was more than that, but anyways, they did half of what the site plan was approved for. Now, accordingly, there's no sunset on these. So if he stuck to the exact same plan, it didn't change a thing, he could actually just go and do it again. And I think that we need to change that and put that in our code that these are only good for whatever appropriate time the board would like to approve. But having it never sunset, I think, is a big mistake. And this happens to be a case in point. And it's a townhouse. I mean, this is something that we definitely want to have looked at. Parking, all these things.
Over French Creek Bridge?
And this is at
Where they
Bayside.
cleared all that land?
No, that's one project up by it's Bayside Marina.
He's also had a dock project that he would like to implement. And I think that definitely needs to be reviewed.
You're talking at Bayside?
At Bayside, yeah.
Yeah, so at least last I conversed with Dave on this, our stance is he's not allowed more dockage because we don't believe that he has enough parking spaces per units anyways, and running another, 250 feet of dock out in the middle of the channel is not we want it, either from blocking off French Bay and French Creek, so.
Right. I'm sure he's going to say that he is going to have parking on the other side of the road. I don't know if he brought that up.
I'm sure he'll try.
Yeah.
Would surprise me, but even looking at that lot, I still don't think he's got
Still
enough
not enough
parking.
space.
Well, the thing that I have sometimes a problem with, and we've had that with another property, is that they want to put a parking area in, but they don't want to make it a parking area. They want to just be lawn or gravel or something, and it's pretty hard to figure out a parking scheme or plan to approve. And I don't think that's appropriate. I think if you're going to have a parking lot, then it needs to be a parking lot.
We would use the same approach that we're using right now with the property over here on James Street, where we're having some parking issues. The project, we're not allowing any further development on that lot without proper, dimensions and documentation for appropriate parking and not just as you can fit them in. Kind of watching for that now. So.
Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Any questions on the police report? So now we're into the consent agenda. Meredith, as you see, what's all in there is you got the meetings from last meeting, the minutes rather, then payroll, then health. It's just the monies that we spent. So,
I'll make the motion.
could I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we need a motion for the capital project.
I'll do that.
I bet you'd be happy for that one. I keep saying they don't get much lower, but this is pretty good.
Yeah, this is
Could I have a
awesome.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, Joanne.
Okay, you guys, did you all receive the tentative budget? Okay, so just for, the official minutes, I put in there that I presented the tentative budget to the board. And then next is the clerk, presents local law number 4. We do this every year just in case, tax cap levy. And then once, we know that we don't need it, then we rescind it. So, are you guys okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. And then I gave you a report on the water sewer levies that will go on the 2026 taxes. And I just need a motion that you guys accept that and a second.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Unless you have any questions on it.
I'll second.
Kind of basic.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And then we have a 30-day advance notice for Regatta on the French Bay LLC.
They'll be going in where Boatyard was.
For a liquor license.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't, what is the regatta on the French Bay LLC? That's what building?
Where the Boatyard was, on the French Bay Marina.
Okay,
That's in the restaurant?
so,
Yes,
so that is going to be a restaurant still, or
yes.
just, oh, so I thought that was going to close.
Well,
It did close.
it did close, but now
Yeah.
someone else is coming in and opening up a restaurant.
Oh,
And they're naming it Regatta.
I see, that's where I was.
Yes.
Now I'll just need a motion that you guys are okay with that letter.
I'll make the motion.
And second?
I can second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're setting a public hearing for the tentative budget. When do you want that, Joanne?
April 13th. If you guys feel as though you need a workshop or something before, or we can.
Well,
And
that's the night of our joint meeting, the 13th.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to talk about that at the end,
Okay,
about when we're going to do that.
okay. But we can still have the public
Public hearing,
hearing, but we don't
yes.
have to vote on the budget until the
Correct.
next meeting if you guys wish to do that.
And then we'll do the tax cap levy public hearing also.
April
This
13th.
April 13th.
Yep. And then I'm not sure if you guys talked about the moorings or not.
We were hoping to talk about it at our workshop, but we weren't able to. I know we had spoken in the last year, in 25, about increasing the moorings for commercial. It's $300 right now for everyone.
And that's been.
That's been quite a few years, because that's when Mayor Zimmer was also here. And we increased it only 100 or 200. We didn't increase it a lot.
And when I send out the mooring letters, I really don't get any personal people. It's pretty much all commercial, like Door and Trench Bay, Marina, and so I think there's maybe one person that has a mooring out there.
I think there's two
Oh,
or three, but, yeah.
So, when they do that, do they tell you how many barges they're gonna moor?
Actually, they there was I think it was last year or the year before, that Kevin had mentioned something to Dor, I think, and he didn't even come in and pay, so we're paying more attention to that, because he had, I don't know how many moorings out there, and, you know, he knows that you have to pay every year, you know, so.
Well, do you guys send out a letter to them?
Yeah, well, we send out a letter to everybody every year, because it's kind of like first come, first serve, as to the mooring that you pick. But like the commercial ones usually have their specific ones that they do.
We have somebody's sailboat on one of the moorings.
Yes.
Charlie.
Charlie's Stage.
Yeah, he's one, yeah.
Okay, but the rest are commercial boats.
And I think Jan Bravo might have.
Yes,
a sailboat
Jan,
also.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I would personally like to change this to charge more for commercials and also limit the number of vessels that are on the mooring or near the mooring. Because I think it's dangerous, and they probably are anchoring around it too, but that's not the point of having the mooring there. So
Yeah. Well, I know that there's quite a few complaints about, you know, all the boats out there, but.
they need to have a place to leave their stuff. I understand
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I think that I showed you all some photographs. There were 7 on that first mooring. 7.
So I'm not sure how this works, because Kevin is in charge of these moorings, right? Okay.
Well, he's the harbor master.
He's
so
the harbor
yes.
master, yes. So, I just think maybe pay attention to him more and.
Well, I think what we should do now, how I think we should handle it is when we send the letters out, you state right there in the letter how many they can tie up to a mooring, and we need to decide how many can tie up, and then what price, if we wanted to increase the price. I know we talked about in 25 about increasing it maybe 1,000, because if you go to a commercial area, boats that size, you're going to pay $3,000 or $4,000. So I know we've had that discussion.
Is there barges?
Well, those
too?
are what we're talking about.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, the barges.
Yeah, I've never seen them, so. But,
So I don't personally, I think we need to increase the price for commercial. Do you go from 300 to 1,000 and a blip? That's discussion.
Certainly isn't out of the price range for that, like you were saying.
No, I
know
don't
just
think
for
it is.
parking my boat, I do over 1,000 easy. With,
Easily.
in fact, the last jump I had to move, they wanted 2,800,
Right.
and that's for a 20-foot boat.
Is that a dock or mooring?
For
A dock.
yeah,
Moorings are generally cheaper,
Yeah.
yeah,
They are generally cheaper, right?
but not that cheap.
yeah,
Yeah, not 300.
not 300, yeah.
I think in the 5 to 1,000 is a starting point. And what, like a limit of 3 things per mooring? You said 7?
7
That's what
barges
we've
or
seen,
7?
Yes.
7 barges at one.
It's kind of odd because they're really not moorings, because
They're sinking.
Yeah,
they got steel I-beams that they drag down into the bottom. So they can actually put them right next to each other, and a lot of times they do. And whether or not that's problematic, probably somewhat. They acknowledged what Bob said, that we want to make sure that they have a spot no matter what, because that's something that this is a type of village that does marine work.
Yeah, you need a working waterfront.
Right.
We're not trying to
No.
persuade anyone not to have that business within the community.
Right. But on the other hand, too, we've had people that would say, you know, I have a waterfront property, and all I can look out at is a old barge. So I was hoping that, I went down and talked to one of them, and I was hoping that we could get like an agreement where, you know, whenever you can, you know, make them not be there, it would be greatly appreciated by the village. That kind of working agreement, if we could,
Where do they go in the winter? They're not there. Where do they go in the winter?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I don't know.
I know what package.
You know, there's
it
one
is.
there,
Some are pulled up close to the road as you
Yes.
go across the bridge.
right,
That's
You're looking over top.
that's
So
Bach is there.
box, right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
there.
but he has waterfront right there. I'm talking about the others that are out on the
I don't
mornings.
know.
And where do they go in the winter?
And I don't know if they were pulled into French Bay. I don't know. I haven't walked down there for a long time
I
to see
did.
if in that area. I
It's a
don't
good
know.
thing that we can find out.
Yeah, I don't know if they may be at some of Kellogg's docks. I don't know. They don't, I'm pretty sure they don't take them out of the water.
That would be expensive, I would imagine.
My recommendation would be to raise the mooring fee for commercial to $7.50 and to limit them to 2 vessels at the moment.
I can live with that.
They need a place to leave a barge, and they need a boat to go to the barge.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. 2
Yeah.
vessels.
Trustee Riddock, what do you think?
I think that sounds reasonable. And I leave the 300
For the
Yes.
for the recreational.
single
recreational.
recreation.
Yeah.
Sounds fair.
All right, 750 and 2 boats per, or 2 barges,
Two vessels.
2 vessels.
I don't have a picture, but
So
sort of the board is set.
what happens if this summer you guys see 7 vessels on one mooring?
We'll just have to contact.
Either that or we get Kevin a boat.
Yeah. Just have to.
Yeah. That's in our budget.
Just get
I'll give
Kevin.
them a ride.
Yeah.
Only if it's a nice boat that.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'll be sending out the letters. You want me to specifically say, the 2 vessels per
Yes.
mooring? Okay.
And then is there like a fine that we
I know, that's the
impose, you know?
I mean, we've never had to fine anybody, but,
Okay, maybe that's,
I think this year I'd stick with 750 and then next year we can make changes.
yeah, okay.
How's that?
We'll see what happens after I
Push
send
too
out
far.
these letters.
Yes.
Because I do know that, I think it was Dor or somebody last year was complaining that, 300 was a lot of money.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So,
So, we'd like a motion
yeah,
to,
motion to do that.
to the commercial rate is 750 with 2 vessels per, a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then we need a motion to accept the February financial reports.
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Do you remember how many moorings that were limited to in French Bay?
I'll just send out the letters. Yeah, I don't know
I
much
know
more
that there is a limit, so we should,
for French Bay.
make sure that we're.
It might be in the LWRP or comprehensive, the limit, I don't know if there is, but
It
that's
seems to
where
me
we
I
would
read
find
it
it.
somewhere, but just to make sure that we don't set it so that they can't put a barge out there.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're limited to, I want to make sure that everybody has the ability to keep the barges out there.
Last weekend, we had Irish Festival. I believe it was very successful. It was rather snowy, windy, and cold both days. We did not have a big turnout for the parade, but weather, I feel prohibited not having a good turnout. Friday, the candy shop opened. It was very busy at opening hour with a bunch of elementary schools.
Is that,
Way busy.
that's open now?
It's
Yes.
So
scary.
you can't
Yes.
tell because the windows are so dark.
Yeah, no, they open, they're
sign.
open Friday, Saturday, Sunday right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yes. The Cove will be reopening soon. We don't have an exact date.
Who's running that?
Yes, that's what my question was too.
The gal that's running Bodega,
Oh,
Val, yes.
Today changed the inside.
Bell.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what her last name is. The ship-
Everybody's been asking.
Yeah, the shipwreck will be opening under a different ownership, and that's going to be called, I believe, Sunshine Cafe. And then again, we talked about that earlier, the regatta at French Bay, and this summer I would think we will see construction at the TIN. I believe they're getting ready to get to the planning board. If they're not on the planning board agenda for April, they would be for May. They're very close. We've got our joint meeting for April 13th. That will be at 5 o'clock. Then after that meeting, we will have our regular meeting with the public hearing to begin, and then our regular agenda. Trustee Nims, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do not.
Alrighty. McDowell, Trustee McDowell?
The only thing I have for the update for the chamber is we went through their plans for this summer and everything's moving right along. There was a long discussion about the balloon festival. It looks like they're going to have it again this year. There was some continuing discussion about where to have it, whether it be and how long to have it. So whether it's 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. So they're still working on it.
Trustee Ritter?
Pond Memorial Library had their meeting last Wednesday at 5 o'clock, and they had some participants, 3 audience members that were interested in possibly joining the board, so they came to the meeting, sat through the meeting. And there are still concerns about the furnace, so I suggested that they keep track of issues with the furnace. Of course, we are keeping track of it also because they're going to call Terry, and also to know any downtime because the furnace isn't there.
Correct.
So
Yes.
it's a 25-year-old furnace. They're interested in having it replaced. It's our building,
Right.
so it's a big building.
It's a big building. And I'll tell you something to discuss with you after the meeting. Ron?
So we already know that there was no planning and zoning applications for March meetings. I did want to say that I did talk to Terry about a new MEO request, and that the summary of the discussion, I guess, is that it's not a question of when or whether or not we're going to hire new people for DPWS. Retirements will be coming up, and that's what he was worried about. It's a matter of when do we hire that makes the most sense for the village. And so my thoughts is that if we're hiring somebody within a year, maybe 8 months, that's pretty good. I think that gives enough time for a person to get up to speed to do the job. So and this was just my opinion to him, and I think Nancy was on board, was that we probably wouldn't have anything in the budget for 2026 for a new employee. But talking to Amanda, she said that if something came up, emergency comes up, then we would go ahead and use a fund balance to hire somebody. So we're not going to put his department team in jeopardy. And he knows that we're totally on board with his thoughts of the future, and that's what he's thinking of. So that's how I ended it, and I hope that the rest of the board feels the same.
There's also the boat show this weekend, and Easter egg hunt on Saturday, 11 o'clock sharp. If you get here at 11:05, The eggs are all picked up.
Are they going to have them in the snow still?
Well, they did last year. I think it was rainy one of the years, and they went, yeah. Yes, they'll
It was,
still have it.
last one was rainy. I
Yes,
don't remember when it snowed.
This is the year for it.
yes.
Yeah,
And it's a little late.
late spring.
Could I have a motion for adjournment? Oh, before we adjourn, when would you like to have another workshop? We were having that discussion. I personally think it's a lot to have it on the 13th, but if that's what everyone wants, that's fine.
What about the week before?
Yeah, I think the week before is better, myself.
I'm not going to be around.
You're not gonna be around.
6.
When do you leave?
Oh, I'm not on here either.
I'm going to leave on Thursday night, so the 2nd.
Okay.
Would next Monday?
Monday the 30th,
I won't be here. But you can go on that if you want.
Tuesday the 31st? Doesn't have to be a Monday.
No, it doesn't.
If you do it at 4 o'clock on Tuesday the 31st, I can do it.
Good.
I can do that.
Okay, let's do that then, yes.
The 31st at 4?
Yes.
And what is this to discuss?
Oh, we have a list of things.
Okay. I'll talk.
Sidewalks.
And
I'll just put it in the
sidewalks
paper
and
as
just
a
go
workshop
on and
meeting.
Yeah, we have the traffic
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 study.
study.
roads, and we still haven't finished up sidewalks.
Well, we haven't finished up the parking plans.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even look at that.
We have one. As a board member, you don't get exempt from anything.
I know, I just, I gotta.
No.